Crime wave in Gotham. Other breaking news. Water. Wet.
Coming up, more problems for a troubled
earthquake.
Yep,
We're having an earthquake.
Breaking into homes and tickling people.
Fans quickly trashed his pantsless look on social media.
Also, in other news,
The whistles go woo!
He was murdered and then set on fire while celebrating his birthday.
He's on the lean and the mouth.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
He thought the car was a spaceship and that the driver was an alien.
He lost his life savings, $2,600. And all he has to show for it is this stuffed banana with dreadlocks.
It's time for another news right here on the Bernstein and Goff Show on 670 The Score, 670thescore.com, and also watch 670thescore.com. The live stream is right there for you. Make sure you go to the Facebook Live page and make sure you like that page and share that page and hang out with us so you can see my yellow shirt and Dan's peppery, more salty haircut, and
being kind.
More
being
salty
very, very
than
kind.
peppery haircut, and hang out with us on the live stream. Make sure you do that. In other news, where we get to stories that we couldn't get to in the first 3 hours of the show, or something that happened yesterday that we couldn't get to, Dan's going to kick us off.
A Virginia man is facing a lengthy list of charges after state police in Dauphin County said he was found naked and intoxicated at a truck stop along Interstate 81 on Monday afternoon. But that's just the beginning of the problems caused by Craig Trocchia, 54, of Roanoke, state police said.
Okay.
Trocchia was sitting in his truck at the Flying J along the 7,000 block of Lingelstown Road in West Hanover Township at about 4:30 p.m. when two men saw him smash the windshield of his vehicle and then pour a cup filled with urine on the interior. It's supposed to be the exterior. Trocchia then yelled at a black man that he should go back to Africa.
All right, I'm in.
He then exposed his genitals to the man and everyone else in the parking lot.
Sounds like my kind of dude.
But Trocchia still wasn't done racking up the criminal charges. Rack him up. He then pointed a gun at the man and told him that he would kill him and everyone else at the Flying J, police said. He then pointed the gun at a second man and threatened to kill him too. Then troopers arrived at the scene and Trocchia continued threatening people. I'll effing kill both of you for calling the police, he shouted. He then threatened the trooper, who transported him from the scene, as well as members of the trooper's family. While in the police cruiser, Trocchia slammed his body and head on the various panels of the vehicle. He has been charged with 34 criminal counts, including ethnic intimidation, aggravated assault, indecent exposure, open lewdness, public drunkenness, simple assault, terroristic threats, intimidation of a witness, resisting arrest, criminal mischief, and harassment. And he's being held on a mere $25,000 bail. So come get your man.
And he'll be the starting power forward for the Dayton Flyers this year as well. He's going to replace Sam Miller, or whatever that kid's name was, Sam Moore.
His name,
Sam Miller?
It was Miller.
Sam.
That's right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a
good day.
And no bullets in his ass, though, right?
Nope. Think about that. Think about that.
My God.
That guy. He has 34 criminal counts, threatening to kill everybody.
Zero bullets.
Threatening to kill cops, and that is not one bullet.
No broken taillights, no child support, back costs.
American Dream.
Hey, man.
IGBTW.
That's my dude right there.
For one Craig Trocchia, because not a single, not a
no
tase, not
even a graze,
rubber bullet, not a
mace,
not a tase, not a graze, not a mace, not any pepper spray.
Shout out to him. All right, more things are coming from the Roger Goodell, Ezekiel Elliott standoff. I read the big lead story at 2:45. This from ProFootballTalk.com. Conflicting reports have emerged in recent weeks regarding the direct participation of Commissioner Roger Goodell in the events preceding the suspension of Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott. Although as Friday's letter to Elliott makes abundantly clear, Goodell made the decision to suspend Elliott 6 games. Goodell did not personally attend the most important meeting regarding the investigation. The NFL, after previously not commenting on the matter, has acknowledged that Goodell was not present for the June 26, 2017 hearing that preceded the issuance of discipline. Deadspin.com reported in late July that Goodell didn't attend any of the hearings involving Elliott. Quote, on June 26, you and your representatives had an opportunity to meet personally with independent advisors to discuss your recollection of the events of the week of July 16, 2016, your relations with Ms. Thompson, the March 2017 incident, and other issues and your representatives believe were pertinent to our review. The August 11th letter informing Elliott of his suspension explains, quote, the advisors had an opportunity to engage directly in discussions with you and to hear your counsel's assessment of the legal, evidentiary, and credibility issues presented in this case. With credibility being such a critical aspect of this matter, it's difficult to make a conclusion about Elliott's credibility without personally attending the June 26 hearing. While the independent advisors serve as a bit of a buffer, their assessment of Elliott's overall credibility is no substitute for the credibility assessment made by the person making the decision. So, Dan Bernstein, I will ask you this.
Yes?
Is this a tough go if you are handing down this sentence and you have not been at any of the hearings?
No, because he made a specific point of removing himself because he understood that he was a wedge issue always, that he was a flashpoint. I remember when he announced it, he was hiring professional investigators
right,
who had experience in law enforcement.
So you're saying he did not want to be jaded or swayed by the personality of the young man or anything that was going on inside the atmosphere, is what you're saying.
Or didn't want to inject himself into the process because he has become his presence now has made things so loaded that I believe it was in. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe that they said it was in the best interest of the fairness of the proceeding that because of all that his name has been through, all that he has been through, and all that happened with Deflategate and everything else, that it be handled by NFL employees who would be seen as more objective and not being burdened by history.
This is the final piece of it. On a matter of such importance and sensitivity to the league, to the Cowboys, and especially to Elliott, with one of the NFL's brightest young stars being branded a domestic abuser under a very low 51-49 standard of proof, how can a reliable decision be made if the person making the decision did not directly assess the credibility of the witness? Here's the truth. It can't. While the four independent advisors may individually and collectively be capable of assessing witness credibility, they weren't the ones making the decision. The person who made the decision needed to be in the room studying every word, facial expression, and gesture. Without that, the grade on the commissioner's decision as to Elliott is incomplete at best.
I love this story on so many levels, and this is from Jalopnik, which is the sister site of Deadspin and Gizmodo, Jezebel, etc., that concentrates on cars. A reader named Matthew with a rich Australian friend sent us pictures of a Rolls-Royce in his rich friend's luxury apartment complex. What makes these pictures notable is the thick, creamery irony they're saturated in, involving a protective Rolls-Royce cage, and how that cage itself proved the car's greatest enemy. Here's the backstory. Rich guy buys a $645,000 Rolls-Royce. That's in Australian dollars. He decides the parking structure of the luxury apartment building just wasn't secure enough to safeguard his roller. The parking garage is already full of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, and other budget-minded down-market crap like that. Clearly, the Rolls needs to be sequestered some way, hence the cage. So the owner had a custom cage built to surround his parking space to protect the Rolls-Royce, sort of like how you protect the $500,000 Labradoodle.
Right.
Unfortunately, that very cage, built with the sole purpose to protect the car, also proved what caused a good amount of damage to the car, since the owner soon found that navigating in and out of the cage was a challenge beyond his skills, and ended up driving into one of the cage's support poles and walls, causing a surprising amount of damage to the car. The steering was damaged, along with a good bit of bodywork on the side and rear, plus the loss of a marker light that probably costs more than most of the objects I interact with every day. Eventually, the Rolls had to be towed away. Cars aren't meant to be kept in cages, especially if you're pretty crappy at parking as it is.
See, I'm not one of these guys who roots for bad things to happen to rich people who buy rich things, but this sucks. I don't feel bad for the guy, but that sucks, man. Get yourself a Rolls Royce. Usually you get a driver when you got one of those, or if you're an athlete, you're driving around like one of these Maybachs that are 9-10 feet long and got the curtains in the back, and you're the only one in the car because you don't have a driver for some reason. But man, That's a piece of art. Like that kind of machinery with that dollar value.
I've never understood wanting to own one of those.
The
things.
stitching, the wood, the craftsmanship that goes into each one of those vehicles. Like that's art on wheels. So
now it's art on a tow truck.